But let's get back to our planet. Now, I just realized I never showed you guys how to add a new slide. I am so sorry. So, how you add a new slide is you go, make sure you're under your home tab. You're going to find new slide and drop down this arrow here. It's going to come up with all these different kinds of layouts that you can have. Right now, I think I just want a title and content. This next one, I'm going to be talking about the moon of Atlantis and the star near Atlantis. So I'm just going to call it the solar energy, ENERGY, around Lanta. Okay. And from the information on my packet, I know that let's see here. Here we go. That gives me a good hint of what I had said. I'm going to cut to this and explain that I'm just going to cut to me having already typed up the information because I have decided, based off the lot of information that I have, how to summarize, which is a skill we've been working on, summarize my information and put it into bullet points onto my PowerPoint so that when I speak, I'm not actually just reading off my PowerPoint. My audience can read it. I will say more information and I can also add some more visuals. So I'm just gonna jump to that, fast forward through it, and you can kind of see what I do. It's not gonna be anything new. It's just gonna be me typing up information, adding some pictures. That's it. Maybe changing the design of it. Okay, let's go. Okay, we're at a good pausing point. I just jumped through it, hopefully. We're at a good point right now where I'm going to show you guys a really cool tool that I really appreciate about this version of PowerPoint because it makes putting images together very easy. It helps you limit your images so the audience isn't very distracted by maybe everything that they see. It can make it very visually appealing. It's all around great. Sometimes they don't give me what I want, but you can't expect perfection. Okay, let's get to it. So on my PowerPoint here, you may have seen it before that it popped up as soon as I added a picture, but I exited out of it because I want to show you where you can find it. As I have a picture selected, it's under picture format, but I do not want to be here. I want to go back to home or design. I want to go over here to design ideas. When I click on it, it's going to generate a lot of ideas and I have all these cool different layouts that I can choose from where the PowerPoint is already switching around the pictures into easy to read, pleasant to the eye layouts. I really like this first one up here, so I'm going to click on that one because it lets me have my moon here, my planetary nebula here, and my lava here below. Now, the information of the pictures and the copyright are all still down here. So don't worry, that's still there. You're not copywriting, it's Creative Commons. We're going to jump forward again. You're just going to be watching me typing out my information for the geosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. And then on the slide after that, I will show you how to add a table so it can act sort of as a place of comparison. It's not quite a Venn diagram yet. That comes later. Okay, now at the part where I'm going to be creating a table. Now, if you're at the usual layout where it's just the title at the top and a box below where you can type information, it's going to be right there. I'll also show you another place where you can add a table of your own if such an occurrence ever happens. Zooming back in here, if we look at our box here, we see lots of different faded icons. within the box here. If we see this top left one, it says insert table. Bammo! Number of columns, I want 3 columns, and for number of rows, I want 5. Remember, columns are up and down and rows are side to side. Now I have my table, but let's for a second delete this and delete this table and pretend I have nothing. I have no idea. Pretend I have nothing. I have no idea how to add a table. What do I do, Miss Mordick? I'll show you. If you go up to your Insert tab here, you click on it, and then you're going to scan across, and you see this tables here. This table, it looks just like the one that we saw. We're going to click on it, and then you have this really cool icon thing that shows you what the table is going to look like before you select it. Now I want 3 columns, so 3 across, and I want 5 rows, so 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bam. And I have my table again. I'm going to be fast forwarding through this next bit again because it's just me typing up the information that I already have on my packet of comparing Earth's atmosphere, biosphere, geosphere, and hydrosphere to my planets, Lanta's atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, and geosphere. Wait, I'm gonna pause here. I was just doing it without thinking, but then I thought I should show you guys what I'm doing. Okay, so as you saw before, my table was too small and it was in the wrong place. And the text kept going off the slide. If I presented this slide, you wouldn't be able to see it. So what do we do, Miss Mordick? Well, what we are going to do is we are going to hover our mouse over so we have arrows pointing in all 4 directions. We're going to click and drag, so we hold our mouse button down and drag up to where we think our, let's say, top left corner wants to be. I think right there looks excellent. I'm going to release my button and it drops, but now it doesn't look quite centered. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find this middle white circle and have my mouse hover over it so it has the 2 arrows. I'm going to click and drag so that it comes over, and voila, it looks a lot more centered now. Now, here's something else that we can do. I don't think I need all this extra space over here. So I'm going to hover my mouse over so I have these separate 2 arrows. They're usually black and they have 2 bars that kind of separate the 2 arrows. Again, I'm going to click and drag it over so you can see this dashed bar here. I'm going to drag that over so that it takes up this space here. And then, but I don't think that's quite even. And I really want this to be even. I'm going to hover over Earth here. I'm going to click and drag over the text and through all the boxes here. And here's a little trick on how we can make the columns of equal width. Okay, I'm going to go up to layout. Now, this layout is different than another layout that you would see on Word. It's not on PowerPoint, but here's a little tip here. This is your table layout, this table design and this table layout. You want to click on layout and you want to find this little button here under cell size of distribute columns. You want to click on that and it will evenly distribute the columns for you. Ta-da! Look, they're so even. It's beautiful. This is 4.59 inches apart, and this is 4.59 inches apart. It's beautiful. But in order to make things even prettier, if you would, What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight geosphere, biosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere. And then I'm going to go back to home. And I want to make it bold. So I'm going to click on this bold button here. Now, if I also wanted to give it a little bit of a slant or italic, I could click on this button. If I wanted to underline the words, I could click on that. If I wanted to add a sort of text shadow, I could click on that. All of these different things, these boxes are still font. So these buttons up here still control the font. That stuff hasn't changed. I'm going to move this table back down just a little bit here. Okay, and my final touch, I'm going to go back to table design, and I'm going to change the look of the table just because I want to. Again, not necessary, I just feel like it. And I want to go with this one because I feel like it's earthy. And we're talking about spheres, so it works. Another thing you can do on your tables is that you can click and drag the text and you can change how they're centered. There's a few ways you can do that. You can go to layout. Actually, this is how you should do it. You can go to layout here, and then there's these 6 buttons here. It controls if the text is left, center, or right, and if the text is at the top of the box, the middle of the box, or the bottom of the box. I'm going to say I want to center them, and I want to underline just because. And then for the geosphere, biosphere, and hydrosphere, I'm going to circle those and say I want them to be centered vertically. And ta-da! We have a table.